Leonard Mbonani, the co-founder of Uhenza for the Children's Foundation, which is in Kenya, along the coastal region, in a county called Kilifi. We are affiliated to Upenda for the children in the US. As far as your question about how the uneducated people are perceiving disability, well, it's not only for the people who are not educated, but it is cutting across even to those with education. They are generally perceiving disability from a negative perception. And the community, majority of the community members hold a lot of harmful beliefs towards people living with disabilities. They do believe that witchcraft, curse, punishments, and hereditary are the causes of disabilities. But worst are the stigmas. They look at children with disabilities as people who are of less value. They are a burden to their families. They do not deserve to live. Others even think these people have nothing to add to the society. And at times you'll find that there are sometimes, as a result of disability, leads to divorce among couples in our communities. People with disabilities are really treated negatively. There are those who shun away from these people with disabilities. Others even discriminate them. They are not included in most of the activities that other people are doing. So it's like they are living a lonely life. Their rights are being denied, and many of them lack the voices to fight for their own rights. And that is why most community members will take advantage of that situation and keep on denying rights for these people living with disabilities. I'm going to share two small stories, and one is about a young man by the name Gerald. I have known him for over 14 years. He is living with muscular dystrophy. This was diagnosed when he was 8 years old. Currently, he is bedridden. But starting from the family, this child has always been discriminated by the family members. And the community, as well as the family members, have also thought that it's because of witchcraft which led to this disability. And they have been complaining that the father is the one practicing witchcraft to his own son. I remember of a situation when the mother of Gerald passed on, and during the burial, which I happened to have attended, I witnessed the father of Gerald being beaten by his relatives just because they claim he is the cause of the disability of his own child. So it was very, very painful. With the community members around this boy, today they are even wishing that this boy could die because they are looking at all the suffering he's going through. He has nothing to add as a value to the community. And even the father today looks at this child like as a burden to the family because his needs are too much for him. So it's like, oh, sometimes he's even ignoring him, abandoning his own child just because of the needs. Having said that, you will find that there is another story of a mother, and this is more sad. She had a child with cerebral palsy, and she had gone for different treatments, local treatments. But at the end, she came through a traditional healer or a herbalist for that nature. And he said the only thing was to bury this mother in a hole and just leave the head and do the treatment, and believing that would be the treatment of the cerebral palsy. But he did not end there. He said, after I have done that treatment, you have to come and take a charm from my house. But unfortunately, when this woman visited this traditional healer, he only asked for sex from this woman. Poor woman, she had nothing to do because she really wanted her child to be well, and she had to give in. So these are some of the stories that are there that are still showing how people are so strong towards their beliefs and the stigmas that are associated with disability in our communities. Beliefs are coming from the general community, but the real origin of these beliefs or misconception about disabilities are coming from our traditional healers. And when I say traditional healers, I refer to our traditional birth attendants, I refer to our soothsayers and the herbalists. These are opinion leaders in our communities, highly respected. Whatever they say, people believe in them, and they have taken that advantage to pass this misconception from one generation to another, such that it has now become a culture. What we have discovered is that these harmful practices or beliefs that a majority of our community still hold about people with disabilities, if they are not addressed, then they are going to hinder any interventional programs or plans that one will want to put on in place. And for that, we have tried to come up with quite a number of strategies or activities to address these beliefs and stigma towards people with disabilities. One of the things we have done is to hold workshops, and we have held workshops for parents, government leaders, pastors, and traditional healers, and all other community leaders in the society. We have also had what we call large disability awareness days, where we bring together a big number of people within our community, and we bring on board children with disabilities to perform different activities, to give talks to show that disability is not inability. This exercise has really shown a lot of benefits, because we have seen after such a big event, a good number of children are referred either for assessment, for schooling, or even referred to our offices for assistance. We have also held talks, and these are public talks to chiefs' public meetings, in weddings, in burial ceremonies. You know, these are places where many people come together. So we have given talks in those forums. We have also given talks in church that we call them the disability sermons. So these are a number of the activities that we have done to address the stigma, the beliefs that people think people with disabilities have. And when we are doing that, we are trying to give them the true causes of disability. Remember, if you are not informed, you'll end up having all the misconceptions. But even the true causes of disabilities can bring a lot of change. Then we also talk to them about interventional measures. So when we talk about interventional measures, people know where to take their children for intervention. Even the community leaders know where to refer these children for interventional measures. We have also tried to tell them about the importance of inclusion for persons with disabilities, because these people have potentials like any other person. So as we are talking all these to these people, we find that they are changing in terms of their perception towards people with disabilities. And we feel this is very important, because As much as you would like to support children or people with disabilities, let's say, for example, you put up a very beautiful primary school for children to go. But if the parents of these children are still holding the negative attitudes that these children are useless, they cannot do anything, they will not take the initiative to take these children to school. That's why we want to address these beliefs that are there. What I've really been surprised about as I've been working for over 30 years in the disability area, uh, we have done a lot of advocacy, but still up to now, you will find that their parents, we have talked to them, we have supported their children, we've talked about the values and the rights of their children, but still they're in a denial stage up to now. At the same time, with all the awareness that we have done for several years, yes, I can observe change, but still there are people who are still very, very negative to people with disabilities. I have a great hope, and I want to quote what Martin Luther Jr. said, that one day people will not be judged according to their color. Equally, I have a belief that people living with disabilities will not be judged according to their disability, but a time will come that children living with disabilities will understand, along with their parents and the community leaders, that they have a value and are deserving of love and acceptance. I have seen the government of today are having so many plans or arrangements to improve the quality of lives of children or people with disabilities. I have seen a government put in place laws that are protecting the rights of people with disabilities. I have also seen the county government, which is a devolved system, also coming in place to put some strategies that will always protect the rights of people with disabilities. As if that is not all, you'll find the government is in the forefront, trying to give people living with a disability, particularly the most severe one, to get what we call the cash transfer, which never used to be there, but we are now seeing it happening. Apart from all the government efforts, like in education, we have a special education policy, which is really guiding teachers on what to do as far as providing education to children with disabilities. That's what the government does. But again, there are NGOs that are really supporting the government to meet its goals in the area of disability. So you'll find different NGOs operating in different places of the country, but all geared to improving the quality of life for people living with disabilities. In Kenya, we have almost 80% being Christians, but you'll find that with that big percentage of people who are claiming Jesus or God, you'll find that it's a very small number or a small percentage of people living with disabilities that are being reached by the church. You'll find that most are being left out. And this is because at the church level, there could be several barriers. They could be physical barriers, they could be attitudinal barriers among the believers. So you'll find that most of people with disabilities are not accessing the churches, are not getting an opportunity to hear the word of God. This is what is happening in the country. But I want to say, as a result, and I'm giving it as an example, as a result of the work that we have been doing with the pastors, remember we have been doing a lot with these pastors. We used them as partner designs. We brought them together. We read the Bible and found out what does the Bible say about people with disabilities. Then we came up with a guide that the pastors themselves developed. And we have also tested this guide with over 700 pastors, and they have said it is working, it can be used. And in one workshop, what we have observed that when we bring together 25 workshops, 25 participants in one workshop, which is one day, you will find that out of the 25, around 65% take action. And what do they do as pastors when they go back to their respective places? You will find that they identify children with disabilities, they counsel them, they also give talks about disabilities in different forums, starting from the church, any weddings. Remember, pastors are so good in weddings, so they always get an opportunity to say something about people living with disabilities. Above all, you find that these same pastors have gone out even to help in the formation of parent support groups in their respective places. There is one pastor who combined the efforts with a government leader whom we had also trained. And what we saw is that they were able to initiate and push the government to start a new school for children with disabilities. For us, this was wonderful. We said people with disabilities, particularly children, are now getting access to education. So I want to believe as we engage more pastors, then these pastors will get out to their different places, bring on board people with disabilities to their church so that they can also have an opportunity to hear the word of God.